What, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to this special quarantine episode of No Holds Barred, Rhode Island College's officially unofficial pro wrestling, fight world, MMA, jiu-jitsu talk show with your hosts, me, Jacob Ottaviani.
And of course, Josh Percy, as always.
And we're currently hiding out in my Providence apartment, doing what we do best, which is drinking and watching pro wrestling. And we're going to run through the Wrestlemania card and give our little predictions on it.
Oh yeah, so Wrestlemania 36 is still happening. It's it's hashtag too big for one night, which is WWE's way of saying let's just go all out and use 2 nights.
Because they can't have all the wrestlers in the building on the same night.
That's also true. It's also all pre-recorded now as well. So, but yeah, so we've got a bunch of, I think, 16 matches on the card still. Obviously, it's going to be most of it's recorded, but they're still happening. Nothing's been announced yet for each night except for Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins on Saturday night.
There you go.
So that's very interesting. So the first, I split up all 16 matches. You got 4 lower card matches, 5 mid card, which is mainly the titles, and then the main matches are the higher profile matches. Yeah. So obviously on the lower card, the first match that was just recently announced was Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley. I think this one's more simple than people would think. I think Aleister Black, it might even be a pre-show match. Aleister Black, I predict Aleister Black goes over Lashley.
They're doing a pre-show?
Yes, they
are. On the pre-recorded Wrestlemania, they're doing a pre-show.
Alright, so... yeah, they are, which is really weird. But the pre-show is from 6 to 7, and then night 1 is going from 7 to 10:15, and then night 2, pre-show 6 to 7, and the main show is going from 7 to 10.
That's a great idea, Vince.
I mean, last year's WrestleMania went until midnight. It was like from 5 to midnight.
Yeah, it's too long.
Yeah, so I think...
they're doing that 2 nights in a row?
Before we start any predictions... normal WrestleMania lasts about 6 hours. So it's the same thing, but it's a normal pay-per-view though. The normal pay-per-view goes from 6 to 11, so it's technically less. Do you think that after they do this, they might try to do something similar in the future?
The 2-night WrestleMania?
2-night WrestleMania.
It would be very hard to do with live crowds. Because then you would either need to sell tickets as a 2-night event, which is again hard to do with your venues, or sell 2 nights of tickets, which is going to annoy fans because they have to buy 2 separate tickets. It's a good concept, but I'm not sure if they're actually going to do it in the future.
I think I agree with that. I think it probably won't happen again, but I think it's pretty cool. So we'll get back to the card. So Aleister Black and Lashley. My pick's Aleister Black.
Yeah, he's going to hit a black mass probably within the first 5 minutes of that match. It's going to be a short match.
Yeah, question, how loud is Lana screaming to cover the talking of the match through?
I mean, loud enough to make my ears bleed.
So then the next one, which apparently is up in the air, that was released today by WWE saying Elias is not yet cleared to face Corbin.
Didn't they? Because they already recorded these matches.
Yes. It's a storyline injury, but Rob Gronkowski's very heavily involved. He announced this match.
Yep.
So I'm predicting that this match does happen. King Corbin defeats Elias with Rob Gronkowski beating up Corbin to end the segment. That'd be my prediction.
I think we're going to see Gronk embarrass himself, and I'm kind of excited to see it. I really, really want to see how this train wreck goes.
I think that Corbin, after jobbing out to Roman Reigns 3 pay-per-views in a row, will probably beat Elias.
I think that's an okay move. I think that's a decent chance of that one happening.
Yeah. Then the next one, personally, one of my favorite matches is Dolph Ziggler versus Otis.
Yep.
I think we both agree that... we hope that we get a Macho Man Randy Savage and Queen Elizabeth on his shoulders.
We have to combine that beautiful Macho Man Elizabeth moment with Eve Torres and Zack Ryder. We need to get Mandy just punting Dolph Ziggler
right in the balls for Otis to hit the Caterpillar in the victory. I mean, I hope Otis wins here.
Otis has to win this. Fans will riot.
Well, there's no fans.
The fans online will
riot. Do they hold out for Otis's victory in front of a live crowd whenever that may be?
No,
Or
because
do they
that's not going to
capitalize
happen.
now?
The momentum will be dead. I mean,
Alright, yeah.
everyone's momentum is currently dead, but
I agree. I think Otis gets the victory here. So this might not be a lower card match, but it's not as heavily pushed, and obviously Vince McMahon doesn't care about women's tag team wrestling. So you have the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka, and the non-quarantined Kairi Sane now.
She survived her quarantine.
She survived because she got married in Japan.
Yep.
And she had to be in 2 weeks of lockdown, basically, versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross.
Mm-hmm.
I think the title change. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross.
Yeah, Kabuki Warriors have had them for how long? Months? Long time.
Months upon months at this point.
And when's the last time they defended these titles? Was it Becky Lynch and
Charlotte, yeah.
Charlotte, yeah. That was at TLC?
TLC, yes. So they've held it before TLC. So
and they haven't defended it since TLC.
Yeah. This is correct. Well, Asuka was involved with
the Becky
Lynch.
Yeah.
But no, I think they switch it up and give it to Bliss and Cross here.
Okay.
All right, so we'll move on to the main card, the mid card, the middle of the card type matches here, and we'll kick it off with the Intercontinental Championship.
Yep.
You'll have the Artist Collective behind Sami Zayn.
So that's Zayn, Nakamura, and
Cesaro versus Daniel Bryan with Drew Gulak in his corner. What's your prediction?
I think Bryan's going to take it. I know you were saying earlier that he might, that he might not want to continue being a full-time wrestler. But I just can't see Sami Zayn coming out on top unless he comes out in full ring gear. If he comes out in khakis and boots again, he's not winning this match.
I do think that unless something fishy happens where I think Cesaro and Shinsuke are going to start tagging in the tag team division.
I can see that.
Because Vince will never see Cesaro more than a tag team wrestler.
Which is sad because he's one of the best wrestlers on the roster.
And if they were to do that and keep Sami Zayn as their manager, he doesn't really need the title. But I don't think they would put him on. I think Daniel Bryan has been requesting to work with wrestlers.
Yeah.
That are underutilized. Mm-hmm. So I think that Daniel Bryan, in the goodness of his heart, and knowing that he doesn't have enough time to be a full-time wrestler, and more importantly, with the quarantine and he has his injuries and asthma, and according to Brie Bella,
he's also a vegan.
He's also a vegan. He is in that section of people that could be compromised. So him even being involved right now is very surprising. If one of the wrestlers were to pull out of a match, which we'll get to later.
We'll hit on that one.
We'll hit on that one later. Daniel Bryan would have been because he's already got a hotel booked and 2 weeks of quarantine away from his pregnant wife and daughter in Seattle. So I think he puts Sami Zayn over. And maybe Drew Gulak turns on Daniel Bryan, but I don't think yet. But I think Sami Zayn wins. Underhanded tactics. Kinshasa, maybe.
Yeah, it's kind of sad in these real world events to kind of influence our predictions when it's, Daniel Bryan has to go hide for 2 weeks so he doesn't kill his pregnant wife.
Yeah.
But,
or himself.
Yeah, that's how this one's going.
Yeah, but I'm going with Zayn and Bryan. I'm going with Zayn.
After that fairly depressing explanation of why I kind of switched my vote, Zayn's going to win.
No, you can stick with Bryan because, again, they filmed enough content for 2 weeks.
But did they do that with the
I would believe so.
Okay.
But so it could really go either way depending on how long Vince is planning for this pandemic to last. I think this match more than any one of them. Okay. More than the second of the two.
We'll get to
that one later.
Yeah.
But so the next one is the Raw Tag Team Championships.
Mm-hmm.
It was supposed to be the Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Andrade. Andrade got injured, so this past week on Raw, he was replaced with Austin Theory from NXT.
Yes.
So you have these two young NXT guys challenging the other NXT guys who just got called up, the Street Profits, in the tag team match for the Raw Tag Team Championships. I'm going with Street Profits. It doesn't make sense to give Garza or Theory the tag team titles. However, we've seen crazier things happen, but I'm going with the Street Profits.
If it was still Garza and Andrade, I would give that a chance, I would pick them. But as of right now, I think it's going to be the Street Profits. But I do like that it's just NXT being used correctly here.
Oh, yeah.
This is how NXT should work, is the call-ups shouldn't just be relegated to the undercard for the rest of their 2-year runs with WWE before they eventually leave. They should be put into these. They're not at the top of the card yet, but they're solid mid-card matches that people are actually excited for and have something to do. They're going for the Raw Tag Team titles. I mean, all of these guys were on NXT within the last 6 months.
Yeah.
So
last year.
Last year.
Within the last year. I think it might be pushing a little 6 months. Street Profits. But I think we can go out over after the card's done with how many NXT people from the last 3 years are on the card.
It's a good number.
But I mean, nonetheless, I want the smoke. So
we all want the smoke.
We all want the smoke. So I'm going with the Street Profits as well.
Okay.
The fatal the 6-pack challenge for the women's championship on SmackDown is now a 5-way. Yep. I like that it's an elimination match.
Oh, I didn't know it was an elimination.
It is an elimination match.
Oh, that makes it so much better.
So it makes it a lot better. You have Lacey Evans versus Sasha Banks versus Tamina versus Naomi versus Bayley, the champion. I don't really know who to pick here because the natural choice would be to pick either Bayley or Sasha to kickstart that rivalry.
Yep.
But then the question is, do they need a title to push that rivalry? Because then maybe Lacey Evans could use the push there by beating one of them while they're pinning one of them while they're arguing. But I do think that Sasha Banks turns on Bayley and is victorious to become the new SmackDown Women's Champion.
That's a good pick. I'm going Naomi. She has been treated less than ideal since her return.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I think you were onto something with the Bayley and Banks arguing. So they're gonna hit my prediction here. They're gonna hit some big double team finisher on, let's just say, Lacey Evans, and then she's out. They're gonna start bickering, fighting. One of them's gonna hit the other. Naomi's gonna swoop in, get a pin, and Naomi's gonna be the new champion. That leaves Bayley and Sasha Banks to go have their feud without the title, so then they can also keep the title picture fresh, because Bayley's had the title for a long time and hasn't
her finisher is awful.
So bad. I didn't think it could get worse than the Bayley to Bayley, but they somehow did.
If you were to pick somebody to turn on someone, who would you want to be the heel and who would you want to be the baby face?
I mean, Bayley is better as a baby face. I don't actually know. I like her as a heel. But Banks is a natural heel, so Banks has to turn. I hate Banks as a face. She's so good as a heel. She's so believably
But if she
cocky.
pins Bayley, wouldn't that get cheers?
So it depends how it happens.
That's true. I'm leaning your way, but you know what? I like Sasha Banks, and I think she's going to take that title. And I think it's going to be Bayley and her battling out at least one more time. Maybe Bayley could cost her the title the next pay-per-view in 2 months, because there is no pay-per-view in May now.
Yeah, they canceled that one.
Money in the Bank has been canceled. Yeah, I'm okay with that. But
I'm going Naomi. That's my solid pick here.
All right, so again, this might not be a mid-card match, but the next one is Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair for the NXT Women's Championship.
I'm so excited.
Who's your pick?
Rhea Ripley wins.
I'm going Charlotte Flair.
Why?
Woo! Because she's a Flair. She doesn't lose.
I think she does to Rhea Ripley. I think WWE is super high on Rhea Ripley. I think they really like her. And I think they already gave her a huge push when she beat Shayna Baszler. Why would they mitigate that by having her just then go lose to this main card person?
Because
when they could really if they want to put over Rhea Ripley to be this destroyer, this dominating champion in NXT, as they're treating NXT now as a third brand.
Yes.
If they want to make it really legit, because Rhea Ripley's had Charlotte's number in Survivor Series in general, I think Rhea Ripley really comes out on top here. They really put NXT over.
So, Charlotte Flair, she's a Flair, just like her father, will do anything to win. I think Charlotte cheats to win. And yes, that doesn't hurt Rhea Ripley. Number 2, imagine the rub that a smaller name NXT person would get, like Dakota Kai or
Mia Yim
would get from beating Charlotte Flair on NXT. If you advertise that match, a title match on NXT, people are going to watch. And again, it's Charlotte Flair, so hopefully people will watch. So by bringing Charlotte Flair down to NXT just for a few months, to get her out of the title pictures of Raw and Smackdown could really help build NXT even stronger. By Rhea Ripley doesn't need to beat Charlotte Flair. She just can't lose cleanly. So, and whoever wins the ladder match, which I think will be Dakota Kai, a heel Dakota Kai versus Charlotte Flair would be very interesting. But more importantly, a babyface like Tegan Nox or Candice LeRae, who needs to be built up more as a babyface in NXT, could use a better rub from beating Charlotte Flair.
Or you have Rhea Ripley beat Charlotte Flair and then be able to give that kind of rub.
That's true. It could really go either way, but I think Charlotte Flair wins the title.
Okay, I'm staying with Rhea Ripley here, but...
Alright, so the next one is Miz and Morrison.
Hey. Ho.
Versus The New Day versus the Usos.
This is going to be good.
It's a ladder match. Nothing's been... Obviously, SmackDown's tonight. We're filming on Friday. So we don't know what happens on SmackDown. But reports are that The Miz is sick and couldn't take part in the ladder match. But we don't know that.
We don't know.
So we don't know where that goes, but we're just going to book on what the match has been called right now. Except for one match. We'll get to that later. I'm going to go with my boys, The New Day, who have not been... In my opinion, they don't win the title without the 3 of them.
Does Xavier Woods make an appearance here?
No.
He doesn't. I know his Achilles is still healing, but does he distract on the entrance ramp with the trombone?
No, not yet. We'll get to that later. The New Day, Big E and Kofi win. And for the next few months, they defend on their own, and then they start getting bigger challengers, they start barely winning, and then Xavier Woods comes back. And gives them that extra push to push that tag reign a little bit longer to SummerSlam, where they drop to somebody like Heavy Machinery or, Undisputed Era, or maybe even Artist Collective or something like that. But I think that the New Day have done enough jobs in the last couple months to teams like Heavy Machinery, the Usos, Miz and Morrison, that I think Big E and Kofi, after Kofi, got mistreated by Brock Lesnar, gets a victory here at WrestleMania again. 2 in a row. To win the tag team titles for the New Day.
That's a solid pick. Considering it's already recorded, I'm saying Miz and Morrison retain because I really like John Morrison and I want him to keep winning things because I think he's really great. But no, I think...
How long till they blow up?
See, that's why I think they're going to retain the titles, is they haven't been able to sow those seeds of self-destruction yet.
Well, they could get a challengers. They could challenge for the tag team.
No. They're gonna retain, and then maybe in their next defense, someone accidentally gets hit, and then they drop, or they start to sow those little seeds of disconnect between the two.
I don't see them breaking up until after SummerSlam.
They're gonna hold the titles till after SummerSlam. No. Yes, they are.
I think
they got a catchy song. They got a nice little dance going on.
I'm just going. Yes. So do the New Day.
Yeah, but this is new.
Yeah, but the New Day. All right. So then the final match that I determined to be part of the mid card is Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens. So I'm going KO.
We're both going KO.
We're both going KO.
Oh, this is gonna be a great match.
I think Seth Rollins has gotten the rub last year with the Intercontinental Championship. The year before that with Triple H. The year before that was 30...
Was that Sting?
32.
No,
he wasn't. He was injured.
Yeah, yep.
31, obviously the steal of the century. I think he's gotten enough WrestleMania moments where Kevin Owens, on the other hand, well, granted, he beat Chris Jericho in a so terrible match.
It was a great match, Vince.
Great match. But then he lost to Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. But I think it's time that Seth Rollins has always gotten the upper hand on him, so I think it makes sense that KO goes up on him.
Does he bring out a power driver?
I have no idea.
I hope so. I hope so. I'll put a pick right on that.
So, the main card, the biggest matches of Mania trying to focus on, and the first match we'll start with is The Undertaker versus AJ Styles in a Boneyard match.
Undertaker wins.
Undertaker. I think we can all agree on that one.
He's not going to win another match at WrestleMania.
I agree. Well, not yet.
Not
until he officially retires.
Because he's going out on his back.
Yeah.
But
I agree with you, Undertaker.
Do we see all three Undertakers? The unholy trinity that he talked about?
They talked about an unholy trinity, and I think it happens in a different match where we might see three different personas. But I was pitching an idea that, Biker Taker shows up and, Dead Man, and then Mark Calloway shows up.
Yeah, this with the ginger hair. He undyes his hair as his ginger for once.
Yeah, I mean, no, I think the unholy trinity would be Kane.
And Michelle McCool.
Or some fancy editing, green screen
to get three of the Undertaker.
The motion capture of Paul Heyman, who kind of looks like
Paul Bearer.
It would be insanely distasteful to do so.
Vince would do it.
But Vince would do it.
Vince would if it's a Boneyard match, you think there's going to be a gravestone for Paul Bearer?
There might be. Or all the gravestones in the background are everyone that he's beaten.
That'd be pretty cool.
But no, I think
Brock Lesnar's is just an open hole because we can beat him.
Roman Reigns is an open hole. AJ Styles is an open hole.
Then he throws AJ Styles in and buries him alive.
Yeah. According to AJ Styles, it is a buried alive match.
Oh, is it really?
I believe that's what it is, but they can't call it that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's interesting, but no, I think it'd be cool. But I do think that Taker goes over. The next one is going to be Cena versus The Fiend in a Firefly Funhouse match. This is where I pitched the idea that this is getting the full movie treatment apparently.
Everything should now. We'll get there.
Yeah. But I think that you see Firefly Funhouse, Bray. I think you see The Fiend, and I think that you see WrestleMania 30.
Cult leader
Bray Wyatt. And if Luke Harper was still with WWE, I think you would see Harper and Rowan as well. However, he's gone, so I don't think they're going to waste Rowan's time. They very well might bring him. They very well might bring him in. They might bring in Bo Dallas and make him part of the Firefly Funhouse as well.
That'd be cool.
But I do think The Fiend is going to get that victory 6 years too late over John Cena, but better late than never. But I do think John Cena loses to The Fiend. And it's going to be crazy, but I think it's going to be cool. But The Fiend's going to get that WrestleMania victory.
We agree here. Finally. The Fiend's going to win. Or Bray Wyatt, The Fiend, whatever you want to call him, they're going to win. Personally,
if it was me and I was booking this match, the person that pins John Cena is WrestleMania 30 Bray Wyatt.
That'd be pretty cool.
And then when the lights go off, The Fiend shows up again and he's choking him out. I think it'd be cool.
They gotta go full. They're pre-recorded. They should take full advantage.
They could take full advantage. There's not many matches they should do this with, but
You should do this with all the matches.
I mean, to make sure that they're perfect, yes. But to add this type of theatrical to it, you don't do that with like a normal tag team match.
I don't know. It'd be pretty cool.
They
start shooting fireballs.
Oh, come on. No, but
come on, that's what Xavier Woods has to come back and do, is to start shooting fireballs. That's how duking in people.
I do think that The Fiend wins. I think we both agree.
Yep. Alright, next up, I'm going to take it from here.
Alright.
It's Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler, and we are very split here, because Shayna Baszler is going to win this.
I'm going Becky Lynch.
You'll be wrong.
My thinking is that this is pre-recorded. Fans are tuning in because they don't have another choice to.
Yep. There's no other option.
There's no other option. And Vince doesn't want to, due to the circumstances. If this was a normal match, fans and all, I think Baszler wins. But due to the fact of the circumstances, and WWE might want to make people happy.
That would be by having Baszler win.
I think Lynch wins. because she still sells a lot of merch.
She does.
She's still popular. And honestly, a lot of these matches here we very well might see at SummerSlam. If there's
an
able to
actual
be a
crowd,
crowd,
yeah.
we very well might see Goldberg versus Reigns in a non-title match. We very well might see a rematch of Lynch and Baszler.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I personally think that Vince is so behind Becky right now that Becky was mistreated for a good 2 or 3 years when she got called up with the other.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And you know what? Charlotte Flair is what, a 9 times, almost double-digit women's champion?
Yep.
Why can't Becky Lynch hold that belt longer than Charlotte?
Hey,
You know what I mean?
she's at a year.
Yeah, I know, she's at 365 at this point, or almost. I think it's a little less because Mania happened obviously a little later.
But she's gone Mania to Mania.
Yeah, she's gone Mania to Mania.
And hasn't felt stale yet.
Exactly, which is why I think they shouldn't give up on her.
Okay.
I'm still going Lynch.
Going Baszler. I got that soft spot for MMA people. I got that deep soft spot, but
It's okay. I'm not a big fan of Baszler, so
I
I'm
like
not
her. I
sold
like her a
on
lot.
her. I think that I don't know. I just don't know. There's something about her that I just haven't been sold on yet. I didn't like the Survivor Series match, but granted, that might have been because Bayley was in it. No offense, Bayley. You're great, but I think a one-on-one match between Lynch and Baszler probably would have been better.
probably.
You had to take the fall as well, so I feel like it's a double hit on you. But I guess we'll move on to the next match.
Alright, so next up we're gonna do Edge versus Randy Orton.
Yes.
And 3, 2, 1, Edge.
Yeah. No, Edge is the obvious choice. I think that he's going to be spearing Randy Orton off of that little tower in the Performance Center.
Yep.
That Tommaso Ciampa and Gargano went through, and King Corbin pushed Elias off of. We talked about the ability to edit and, with the pre-recording stuff. For the safety of Edge, you spear him off into a mat or a blow-up thing. And then, they go back and the tables are broken. Like, it could be Edge's safest match when he comes back.
Yeah, you remember when Big Show chokeslammed Kurt Angle off of some stupid high platform? Yeah, it's going to do something like that.
Yeah, it could be something real simple like that, or Miz and McMahon's suplex at Mania last year, right?
They just went for that one.
Yeah, but again, they fall into this giant mat.
Yeah, it was like a mat with boxes and stuff.
Yeah, it was a very obvious mat. They could do something like that.
Yeah.
But again, you think flaming table?
I think it should be a flaming table spot. It might not be. I want it to be.
It very well could be. That'd be really cool. He mentioned it in his promo that he cares about this business so much that
he's going to jump head first
into a flaming table with thumbtacks on it to win and put on a show. But it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility of a heel Orton just barely squeaking out a victory. But with Edge's return.
Not after the Beth Phoenix stuff. I think Edge is going to get it.
Do you think Beth Phoenix shows up?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
Straight grudge match.
Straight grudge
Barbed
match.
wire baseball bat's going to show up, but...
Alright. McIntyre-Lesnar, the Universal Championship match.
It's got to be McIntyre, right?
Yeah.
They built it. They had him Claymore kick Lesnar out of the Rumble. They've had him so dominant. And it's been... How many years has he been on the main roster? It's been at least 2 or 3, right? Since he debuted with Ziggler? 2 years?
2 years.
He's been mistreated for those 2 years, and he's finally getting this treatment of... He's so over. The 3-2-1 thing was so over when there was a live crowd.
Yeah. No, I think...
There's no way he doesn't take it.
The issue here, obviously, the situation, I don't think Vince will withhold pulling a trigger on something. Because the fans, a lot of the subscriptions and the pay-per-view buy-ins are going to be 10 times more than they were if there's a live crowd. So... He's going to make money, and he's going to want to finish these storylines where they started from. I don't expect to see Brock Lesnar until almost the Royal Rumble next year. I don't think he comes back for SummerSlam. Obviously, he has that disease.
The diverticulitis.
Yes. We don't know if he's being affected by this situation.
I don't think that has anything to do with his immune system. It might. That's just more of a digestive tract issue.
It might be, but we don't know. He might go into hiding until this whole thing blows over.
And Brock Lesnar punches coronavirus out. He's a Viking.
Maybe. It would make sense for McIntyre to go over here.
I think he's going to go over. Okay.
Last match.
The one that we've been saying we'll get to it.
We'll get to it.
I don't know how many times in this video, but this is Mr. Bill Goldberg versus Roman Reigns. Reportedly Roman Reigns.
Okay, so Roman Reigns has publicly said, and it's been reported, and Triple H has even said, that Roman Reigns is out. His remission in leukemia, his real life situation
with cancer
has, he made the logical decision to stop traveling, go home, although he lives in Florida.
He does, but it's still like you have to travel and interact. He's a very immunocompromised.
But it's very crazy to think that, he's not flying, but he made the decision for his health purposes.
Yeah, one of the side effects of chemotherapy is the essential, your immune system's gone.
Yes.
So this is probably the worst time to have either almost non-existent or not fully functioning immune system, which is the case with Roman Reigns. So I think he's making the right choice.
Absolutely.
And I'm in full support of him just staying home, and this entertainment is not worth his life or his well-being at this level.
Oh, I agree.
Like if they're willing to put their well-being on the line by jumping off a 30-foot tower or going through a table or taking these bumps day in, day out, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But when it's this disease that we don't fully understand, that we don't know the full consequences of yet, I think the smartest thing for him to do would be to stay home with his family so he can hopefully continue to provide the entertainment that we love him so much for.
Absolutely, and I think it was the right call. So obviously we're recording this right now, it's Friday, so we haven't seen Smackdown, I mentioned that before. So they're going to reveal who the new opponent is and set that up with Goldberg tonight. So who would be your top two choices? And what would be the outcome of your Goldberg versus your top two choices? So
top two. So we're in agreement on the first one, which would probably be Braun Strowman. Because he's been doing nothing since he lost the title to Sami Zayn. Ooh, another one. Who's on SmackDown?
You've got Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy, there we go. All I need is Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy. He's going to come out with no more words. He's just going to win the title off of Goldberg after having one match back. Because why not?
Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with that. Do we both agree that whoever Goldberg faces, he's going to drop the title? Because that was the original plan?
Yeah, if Roman Reigns isn't going to be around, I think he's going to drop the title because something tells me Goldberg does not want to travel or even stay in Florida because I know he doesn't live there.
Yeah, so I would think that they go with the original plan of having Goldberg drop the title because you can still do Reigns versus Goldberg at SummerSlam or Reigns versus Goldberg at Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
You could build that up at another time.
Yeah.
Or Royal Rumble or WrestleMania next year. We agree with the first choice is Braun Strowman. Mine is you announced tonight that the Fiend versus John Cena match is a #1 contenders match.
Okay.
So John Cena can come out saying that he's fighting for his, is it 18th World Championship or 19th?
I thought
he tied Flair at 18, right?
16th.
16th.
So
he's
it'll be
fighting
17. Yep. He's not going to get it.
That's okay. But the idea behind it is that the Fiend is he knows what Goldberg has to offer now. He won't second guess himself. The Fiend knows what to expect, and he's very upset that Goldberg took something very, very special.
Very, very special.
Very, very special from him. And Cena's fighting for the breaking Ric Flair's record.
Yeah.
So that adds an even bigger level to that Firefly Funhouse match that would happen on night one. But I do agree that whoever wins, I think the first choice would be Braun Strowman. And I think that whoever faces Goldberg would win. I think that's true.
I'm in agreement.
So, out of all these matches, which would you have main event on night one, and which one would you have main event on night two?
Main event night one, Edge Orton. Main event night two, McIntyre Lesnar.
I agree. I would think that the two men's titles would be up for grab for the main events, given the fact that Goldberg Reigns and Lesnar McIntyre.
But it's not Reigns anymore.
It's not Reigns anymore. So I think Goldberg is out. That might open night one.
Yeah.
It very well might. To just kick things off if it's not the Fiend. I would go with, this is crazy. I would go with Charlotte and Rhea Ripley night one.
That's a good one. That's a really solid
NXT main eventing night one of
That's a great compromise.
Okay. Night 2, McIntyre Lesnar.
Has to be.
Has to be. He won the Royal Rumble. Night 2 is simple. Night 1, it could pretty much be, Edge, Orton, I think Charlotte and Rhea Ripley. If the Fiend is for the number 1 contender, that main eventing would make sense. Out of the 2 specialty matches of Taker and Styles and the Fiend and John Cena, which night would you prefer them to go on? Giving one on each.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for me. Yeah. Just one on each.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I agree with all of that. So I mean, obviously with WWE and AEW right now performing in zero audience situations, how do you feel about that? What has been your take on it?
So I think AEW has been doing a better job of it. They've had some of their talent around ring kind of acting as a crowd. They had it last week too.
They did?
Yeah. Okay. But also, I think they've just been doing they figured out how to shoot it before WWE did. The first week or two for WWE, they were shooting it a normal style. You saw the empty crowd. Mm. But AEW switched the hard cam towards facing the entranceway. I think WWE has followed suit with that, just so it doesn't seem as empty. I think both of them need to take I said this to you before, need to take a page out of Lucha Underground's book and go full on like cinematography, super well edited, super well produced backstage segments instead of people talking in the ring. WWE has started to do this with the Undertaker promo, with all of that stuff.
I think, Owens made sense because he had a match.
Yes.
Don't have them do a promo in the ring if they don't have a match.
Yeah, so I think it should really just be really well shot, well produced backstage interviews and segments and brawls and all that, because they don't have to do it live. They have the luxury of editing and post-production and retakes. If someone says a line that sounds terrible, rewrite the line. Yeah. Redo the shoot. Reshoot the promo.
Yeah.
I see no reason not to do it like that, so you can put out a product that feels special in a time where WWE has lost what made it special.
Absolutely, I agree. I think it makes sense. I do agree that, I loved hearing the Inner Circle, Sammy Guevara. I always mess that up.
You listen to their names every week and you can never say them.
Yo, it's the E.
I say Dominic what?
Dijakovic, whatever, dude. I don't care, man. It's all right because they have funny names. It's cool. But him singing Judas,
that was so good.
3 weeks ago, dude, I listened to that once a day. Honestly, that was the best thing to do at that time. They had MJF doing it too, singing it.
They were jamming.
Sean Spears.
They have the heels on one side, the face on the other.
Yeah. I mean, they can't do that anymore because they can't even allow 10 people in the building at a time.
Like, that got canceled.
Yeah. It's been crazy. But thankfully, they're able, because for this type of stuff, it's similar to other places like retail, where they can still stay open, but they have to have a limited amount of people depending on the square footage.
Yes.
So people are saying, well, last week we had a 6-man tag match, so there's 6 people. You had 2 ring commentators, so there's 8. You had a ring announcer, that's 9. You had Vega on the outside, that's 10. You had the referee, that's 11.
You
had 3 cameramen, that's almost 15 people. And that's not the ring bell, the doctor. They're pushing it, but it depends on the square footage of the room, of how many people you can have in the room. But I think it's pretty cool. Money in the Bank can't happen because that takes 8 guys. So money.
They could cut it down to 6.
They could.
They used to do 6-man Money in the Bank matches.
6. They could, but I think they like the 8. So I think they've already said that it's not happening in May. So, but I think it's been cool with the empty arenas. WWE has far more content, so they can show matches from the past. They did that with the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
Showed the entire Royal Rumble match on a Monday Night Raw.
Maybe they just cut around 2 hours.
No, absolutely. But they don't need to do that. But when they were talking about how Becky Lynch has held the title for so long, they showed her WrestleMania match. That made sense.
Yeah.
Showing the full Royal Rumble match, a month after isn't great.
They could go, like, they've been showing these matches for the past, like, 2 years.
They could go farther back.
What if they're like, hey, Stone Cold versus The Rock at WrestleMania? Just throw that out there.
They
do
put
a WrestleMania main event every week.
Every time they've been doing WrestleManias on ESPN on the weekend, every time they've showed them, they've been the highest rated.
Yeah.
So WrestleMania sells. So why not, when talking about ladder matches, when they're, if they knew they knew about the ladder match on Smackdown, why don't they show the first ever WrestleMania
ladder match with HBK and Razor Ramon?
Yeah, or they could show the first tag team match with Hardy and, but the issue is that they have to pick videos where guys are still with the company because they're that petty.
Yeah. They don't want to show someone who's currently in AEW or Impact or just on the indie circuit or
they don't want to show that.
They can't really do. I was gonna say they just do WrestleMania main events, but they can't really do WrestleMania 20.
No, they can't really.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah, but they can't really do. Or why not show each week? Undertaker's matches.
Yeah,
against Shawn Michaels. You'll kill 30 minutes by showing WrestleMania 26 with Flair versus Shawn Michaels.
That's 24.
24. Well, yeah, I know that, but I was talking about 26 with Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Then I went, well, why not Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair? So, I mean, it would make a lot of sense to be able to do that, but I mean, they want to use more local so that people buy the network and watch the whole matches, I guess.
But so, the empty arenas, they're doing the best they can. Hopefully, within the next couple of months, they'll be able to get back to even small crowds. But no one has any idea what the future holds in terms of entertainment. All sports are impacted and essentially gone. I know the MMA world, to jump back to that part of this show, that I only get to bring out sometimes. The MMA world is reeling. I mean, the UFC has canceled all of its cards coming up. There's
What about 249?
That's up in the air. So Dana White's saying they're doing 249. Khabib is saying he can't leave Russia.
Which is fair.
But like, if this would be the 5th time this fight gets canceled between Tony Ferguson and Khabib, I am angry. Anyway. So, in summary, with the empty arenas, they're doing the best they can. I think both companies are doing a great job with what they're given. AEW is doing great with their backstage and their non-wrestling angles, or the stuff with Brody Lee, the stuff with Matt Hardy.
Oh yeah.
Which you may see in another video.
Yeah, we'll get to that in our next episode.
But they're both doing as good a job as they possibly can, given the constantly changing and crumbling circumstances that they're trying to produce wrestling in. But if you have any final comments on that or WrestleMania, let's hear them.
I think 36 is going to be better than people expect. I'm excited. I mean, I work Saturday night till 5, so I'm going to be home all day for WrestleMania. I don't work on Sunday, so I'll be able to watch WrestleMania on Sunday as well. I think it's going to be good. They're doing the best they can, and I think fans should be thankful because, again, there's not many sports that are happening right now. So WWE pushing on, and the show must continue. Some people might not like it, but giving fans something. And I think that's good. AEW has allegedly filmed enough content to last till the middle of May. Mm-hmm. WWE only filmed enough content to last till the middle of April. Yeah. But again, Vince might be able to work something out because, he owns the Performance Center. And, just because you had a stay-at-home order doesn't technically mean that, if you're seen as an essential worker, which Vince might be able to pull off.
Because he's real powerful and has a lot of money.
Real powerful and has a lot of money. And maybe he donates some money for masks and gloves and to make sure his wrestling...
God, that'd be that dark. I would not be happy about that one.
Listen, with WWE, I listened to Stephanie McMahon's interview, and they're doing everything they can to make sure that everyone is safe and healthy. No one walks in that building without getting, temperature check and doctor. When you come back from an injury, you have to get consistently checked out by a doctor each week to get cleared. They're doing that to everyone when they come in. Workers, wrestlers, cameramen, referees. They're checking people outside of the building in tents to make sure that before they enter the building, that they're 100% healthy.
Yeah.
Or, not corona infested, at least. They don't have any of those symptoms, the fever, anything like that. And I think it's really cool that AEW, Tony Khan and Vince McMahon and the management have told people that if you're not comfortable working,
they can not come in.
You don't have to come in and you won't lose your position.
Yeah.
So if you're Roman Reigns, you make that call, you're like, well, I'm not going to lose my spot as the top guy because I have a compromised immune system. I think that's a pretty fair trade-off.
Mm-hmm.
I might not get to main event one night of WrestleMania, but I get to live to see another day.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you see AEW leaving Jake the Snake Roberts home, Jim Ross being told to stay home, some of the older guys on the card of like Rey Mysterio. He's 46.
I think he got sent into quarantine, though.
He got sent into quarantine. No, he didn't get sent into quarantine. He asked to go into quarantine. Dana Brooke asked to go into quarantine. I think it's good that the wrestling world, where Vince usually is, no nonsense, no excuse type guy, that management group along with the Khans have been like, you're good. If you can't do it, that's cool.
On that slightly sad down note, this has been this week's
Well, one more thing. Match of the night.
Okay, match of the night.
Ending on a high note. Match of the night.
Edge and Orton, or match of the 2 nights.
Match of the 2 nights. If one match, one match. Yeah, the match of compared to all.
The best match of WrestleMania.
Best match of WrestleMania.
Edge Orton.
I'm gonna go. Oh man, that's a tough one. I don't know why I asked the question.
You didn't have an answer to ask the question?
You know what? I'm gonna go Owens Rollins.
Okay, that would be very good as well. Just go
Owens
full
Rollins,
Ring of Honor style on it.
Absolutely.
Okay, but now on this slightly higher note, this has been this quarantined episode of No Holds Barred. I've been Jacob Ottaviani.
Josh Percy, of course.
And we will see you guys next time.